Kwa hivyo mwambie wale wanazungua wakinitusi, mimi sijali. They want direction. They want leadership that will see them through to the other side. Can I hear that? So, our country needs unity in order for us to have peace, in order for us to have stability, in order for us to have progress. A country needs leaders of integrity, leaders who are principled, who are there to serve their people. Because by serving your people, by extension, you're serving your God. They don't want leaders who serve themselves. Kwa hivyo, tuache selfishness kidogo, na tujue lengo letu ni kuhudumia wananchi hawa ambao wako mbele yetu na Wakenya mzima. Na mimi nashukuru.
From what was said yesterday, and former President Uhuru Kenyatta said that Kenya needs leaders of integrity, leaders who stand on something with principles. That Kenya needs leaders who will unite them and not divide them. And those are very weighty words coming from the president, because he says, even at the time when we were getting to 2022, the person that he supported was a person that he looked to bring the country together. And as we look at the political space that we are in today, one asks the question then, how are we looking at getting into politics that would bring Kenyans together and not divide them together, because there are many who are hell-bent, like you say, Matiang'i. It's easy for him to convince Kisii because he comes from there. But he has to equally convince Kenyans from Mount Kenya. He has to convince Kenyans from the coast that he deserves that vote. Are we looking at a situation where even the unity that we see between Uhuru and Rigathi Gachagua as the uniting factor that will bring Kenyans together and say, we are casting this vote because these individuals are bringing us together on peace and people who will deliver? And this conversation that perhaps even in the united oppositions, people must start having now.
It's, you see, from 2013, in fact, not from 2013, 2007. 2007, having worked with Kibaki, people think that Kibaki was very unhappy because Laira was kind of forced on him
Yes,
by the National Accord.
Right.
But if you ask me, Kibaki was more at ease 2007 and 2013 because he had this other block on board and they will sit and say, what do you want the country to do? And you could tell by the way he kept reprimanding those of us who are from his side. And any time we seemed to throw harsh words on Raira's side, he was very harsh on us. Behind the doors, he was very harsh on us. And in fact, he made you look very stupid. And he kept asking, hii kichwa yako ni fitina tu, asubuhi fitina, saa sita fitina, saa nane fitina, utarara umesema umefanya nini? And then you'd say something, then na sasa hiyo umesema inakusaidia na nini? And the question that keeps ringing in my mind today, through which he asked us one time, is when we went, a team went there and we were led by one of our seniors then. Tukasema huyu amefanya, he's doing, and then he asked us, sasa wewe kwa sababu wewe ni mzuri sana na tunapenda wewe sana. Na ni kweli hata kazi unafanya mzuri sana. Sasa siwende huko usimame, ukuje tufanye na wewe, uchaguliwe huko ukuje tufanye na yeye. What he was telling us is, whatever you do, every corner of this country will bring in leaders. And it is your responsibility to work with them. Otherwise you give up on this whole game. So he was really a comfortable person. I remember also what he told me when Marende was picked as the speaker. And we had really worked hard to get a speaker from our end. I don't know who it is. I think we were pushing Imanyara or something, because PNU,
yes,
ODM. And when I went over and said, wow, Because you see, that time the president was also a member of parliament. He was representing Odaya. So I walked over to his the bench. They were better than what we have today, and said, "Hey, we've tried, but I think we'll work with him." He told me, "This is a good man." Those were his words. No, this is a good man. That's what Kibaki told me. Kwa flop. Immediately after I was one of the cracks. Even it was announced, he said, "This is a good man." And Marade turned out to have been a fantastic speaker. He was able to unite the country. Whenever he thought this issue would become very divisive for no good reason, he would play around with it and leave it in his office. So what you are saying is, and I unfortunately, and I look at Uhuru now, one of the reasons Uhuru kept telling us, and some of these things is good they be said so that the Gen Z people can also understand. Because after the killings of Rift Valley, between the Kikuyu community and the Kalenjin, let's talk about it openly. One of the reasons Uhuru went for William was to unite, remove that, because he said he would never ever want this kind of thing again. That was the driving thing. The numbers, yes, but that was the driving thing. So when he then went for Raila 2018, he said, "But we did this with you, brought these communities together. Why don't we also bring these blocks together?" So this issue of unity is not a new thing to some people's minds. But it is a very difficult thing for people who want to seek for leadership of a country and don't have the confidence of governing the whole country behind them. And I think this is where we got it, we are getting it, I think we are getting it wrong. Because I see now, we are organizing ourselves in groups. You remember, we have had this debate here, where we were saying, there's no way I'm going to allow to say that we are going to have a presidential candidate with a small political party in Kisii. We had that debate. And we are saying, Matiang'i is a person being accepted from all corners of this country. And it will be very sad for any of them to finally now retreat to their corners. Because if you go back to Kisii, Kalonzo goes back to Ukabani. William is trying to do it all over the country. So what becomes of Mombasa? I mean, they start wondering, where do we belong in this game? What becomes of Kakamega? What becomes of all these other regions?
I have to ask,
and
though,
I think this thing of unity needs to be seen beyond the unity of two people. It must be unity that is at that level, which was there before. Now we are looking at unity of small units. But again, maybe this is getting too far ahead of everybody in this game. But you see, going back and looking at where did we lose it? BBI was actually trying now to codify that kind of unity.